Okay, hello everybody. Alright, I'm going to start working on my little classic car project 110, and the first thing that I want to do is to try to check proportions, basically, because the one thing that I have to work with is existing tires. So I'm using the front two-wheel drive buggy tires at the moment from Tamiya, and so that dictates the diameter of the wheels as well as the width. Now the width of the car, I'm not gonna have much choice because I'm using existing F1 rear axle and front assembly, so the width is going to be the width, but the wheelbase and the proportion of the body, I want it to match the proportion of the wheels that I have. So I just checked, my wheels are about 85 mm in diameter, so this is the wheel. So now if this is the wheel of the car, we can take the blueprint and we can try to match the wheel to this diameter, and then we can work out the size that the car would become. So alright, here you go, that's the wheel. Oh, the blueprint is super big. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's squeeze that back to 8.5. Okay, here you go. So now this would be the car to scale with the tires. So let's take a look at what dimensions we get from there. And the good thing is we even have the top side, so I'm going to be able to double check with the width of the car. I think I'm going to be much too wide, but we will see. So wheelbase, when we go from center to center, we are at about 27 cm. So right now if I take my F103, I'm at 25, so I'm gonna have to go longer. It's going to be 26. Is it 26 or 27? I already forgot. Let's go do it again. We're going to go, yeah, 27. Okay, so that might actually help with the way the width of the car looks like. Yeah, let's turn this into reds just so it's more visible. Okay, so here we have our wheelbase. Now the width that I have, of course, it's 190 from the car. Actually it might be less than 190 because the wheels are super narrow. So width I have is 185 at the moment at the back and at the front. So that's the width on my F103 classic chassis. Now if we go from that's pretty good. Okay, so this is 180, so I think if I work with the offset I might be able to do an exact match. Now 2.5 mm on each side is honestly not that big of a deal. Yeah, I might not fool around with the width too much, but yeah. And so you see the next thing as well that I need to work out from that blueprint, which is actually really good to have, is where I'm going to cut the body panel. So I have my rear axle, I have my pod, I have my front end from the Team Saxo F1, and I'm going to design the chassis with probably 2 levels, similar to the design I have for my trike or my pan car. So what I want to do for the body, I think I'm going to have this as one piece over there, and then I'm probably going to have something like that as another piece, and then I'll have the hood separately on the top. Yeah, the hood like that. How is the hood line in the front? Okay, it's a square, so that's pretty perfect. Now I don't plan to do the underneath, I think it's just going to be from the top, and inside that here, inside that body panel, this is going to be together. I actually want to have the engine showing. So as you can see, I'm gonna have to figure out what kind of space am I going to have inside this bonnet in the front, because I have to fit, of course, the well, all the front articulations for the car, as well as the servo, which is going to be vertical. Also, I'm looking for my digital pen. Okay, so here we are. So inside here, so that those proportions are actually going to be pretty much exact. So okay, let's remove a bit of transparency here so we can see what we are doing through there. So inside here, I'm going to have to place my triangle. So it's going to be something similar to the Tamiya one, except that the Team Saxo has a carbon part over here at the bottom. So that's a little nicer. But I'm going to have to fit. I don't know if I do it probably laying down. Here I could fit shorty, a small servo here, I think, and then have the, yeah, I think there should be enough space to do that here. And so on top of that, I think what I'm going to do is that this is going to be one solid panel, of course, for the front, but I need to be able to include, well, let's get rid of this gibberish over here. I want to be able to include that actually molded inside, so you would have the engine bay with the detail already molded inside the front here, and then the bonnet could be able to open over here, or maybe just pop out and and reattach. I don't know if I'm going to do some clips or some Velcro just for the ease or something like that. But so this body panel, I think I'm probably going to have a little recess here and a little recess in here and in here, and then the bonnet will probably attach to it some way, maybe just screw. Actually, that would work as well, because I don't know if it's something you want to be able to do, fly out of your car if you have a crash or something. But I want to have this piece inside, and then I can have a lot of plastic design elements attached to it. But I have to figure out what kind of space I'm going to have. There seems to be quite a bit of height, so I think I'm gonna have no problem fitting that in, but I have to be conscious that there's going to be the chassis plate. So you can imagine that the servo is going to be, what size do I have here? 4 by 3 points. Let me see what size servo. Hold on. Okay, live mayhem. So 43, well, let's say 44 by 27. So let's go again. We got 44 times 20, let's say 28, just to be safe. So yeah, I'm gonna have plenty of space to put my engine molds over there, inside that. So that's gonna be a nice part, and then the bonnet is gonna be a piece that's gonna go stick on top of it. The attachment for it, I might have a strap actually that could look cool. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do the attachments, and most likely this is gonna be molded directly inside the Lexan as well. The exhaust pipe, I think I'm gonna mold them, and that's gonna finish the bottom of the body nicely, probably with alpha circle at the bottom, or I might do them in plastic. This is, I'm not 100% at the moment. On the one I did with the RJ Speed body, it is a plastic piece. It's working well, but I don't know about the durability. Those are going to be plastic, of course, and then I'm gonna have to figure out a driver over here. So this is something that I'm gonna have to model, and is gonna be made as well out of plastic, I think. So that's gonna be, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of space in there for the decks. I'm gonna try to design it for the center of gravity to be as low as possible. So I'm thinking about low center of gravity, shorty lipo pack inside, and ESC over here, and run everything super low. So even though the body is going to be tall, the weight is going to be all the way down, so the car is going to be able to drive really nicely. Okay, so I think we've got pretty much what we're looking for, which is the general dimensions of the car. So it's going to be 2 cm longer wheelbase than the F103, and the width, I think I'm going to keep what I have. I can probably adjust a little bit to get back to 180, and then I'll have perfect proportion. Or let me see the difference of thickness of the tires as long as I'm here. So the tires that I have are 20 mil in thickness, and here I have 20 mil. It's perfect. Proportions are perfect. So the tires that I have and the size of the chassis are going to be an exact match to that. So this is a 166 F1 Ferrari. Between these and the 375, I'm going to do kind of matching a little bit all of the designs from the Ferraris that I like from the 50s and the late 40s, and I'm going to come up with design. So probably what you see here on the blueprint is going to be changed. For sure I'm going to change the angle that we have here, just so we can have something that works in one piece, so the nose is not going to be falling down like that. More like the RG Speed, I think, that I'm using at the moment. It's something like that as well. So here you go. I think this is a good first look at the classic F1 project that I'm going to be doing next. So this is going to be 110 scale. It is not 128, it's not mini. You can check the classic chassis that I have done from the F103 GT. So this is the base design that I'm going to follow, and I'm going to simplify everything. And because I think the body is going to be fairly expensive, the axles are whatever price they are. From getting it, I'm getting them from Team Saxo, but you could get them from Tamiya or something. The pod is the pods that I've designed for the trike and the FP, which is actually the pod you can use on the F103, the F103 GT of the F104W as well. So it is actually a similar pod to the one that I have right now. I have a free racing pod, I think, on my F103 GT. And I'm just going to change basically the suspension system at the rear to have something more like my FP, when you have the spring is done by the chassis plates that is cut as a T-plate, holding everything in place in one piece from the front to the back, and then dual dampers attached on the top that are angling out. You can check my Formula Pen car to see how is the dampening done at the rear. So okay, I think this is a good first look at that project, and so now I'm gonna start to get designing on chassis placement of existing things. So the pods, the chassis, the front end, and then I'm gonna have to work my way through the best case scenario, the best scenario possible for placing everything as low as possible to the ground, knowing that at the end of the day the motor and everything are going to be a bit high, because you see where this is. So the pod is going to be centered around that. Another thing that I could do with the pods that I have now, that would be interesting to have comments, is that I can have the motor at the rear. I'm worried that we're not going to be able to do that, because that would mean having the pod sticking out. Sorry, okay, forget about that. I'm just brainstorming by myself here. So because my pod is reversible, so you could technically have the pods over here like on a traditional F1, or you can have it reversed over here. But the problem there is that the the back is not going to support that. So I want to have this nice taper at the back. So alright, forget about that idea. It's not going to be a rear mounted motor. It's going to be a motor in front of the axle. And yep. Alright, so here you go. This is my first quick look at my new classic project, and I will be back as soon as I'm jumping again on the design software and show you whatever I work on next. Alright, so see you soon everyone. Bye bye.